Hello everybody, welcome to the latest episode of The Z-Man Show. Hey, I'm finally uploading again. If there's one way to get rich quick, that's to make a gacha game. All you gotta do is make a lot of characters, put in some RNG, put in some RPG elements, and bing, bang, boom, you got yourself a gacha game. And that will make you a lot of money. We saw it earlier this year with Fate Grand Order, a huge success for Type Moon. We see it with Nintendo with Fire Emblem Heroes, absolutely killing it in the mobile space. But one of the biggest games that I don't think anyone really talks about in the West that much is Granblue Fantasy. It's a huge phenomenon in Japan. Many people love to play it, many people love getting all the characters and seeing this really awesome anime game on their smartphones. Thanks to the success of the mobile game, it's spreading to other forms of media such as an anime. There's an action RPG coming up called, Granblue Fantasy Relink? That was being made by Platinum Games, and now Granblue Fantasy Versus being developed by Arxis Games and Cygames. Granblue Fantasy Versus had a beta, I got a beta code, and well, here are my thoughts and impressions of Granblue Fantasy Versus. So without much further ado, here are my impressions of Granblue Fantasy Versus. Enjoy!
みんな準備はいいか？油断できない相手だ。気を引き締めていくぞ。
いい気迫だ。我が剣でその思いに応えよう。
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
When all of this is said and done, someone is going to get a back and or armpit fetish. This is Granblue Fantasy Versus, the latest game from developer Arxis, most known for games like Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, and Dragon Ball FighterZ, the latter of which got a Game of the Year nod from me last year. The people over at Cygames weren't just content at making gacha money, oh no, they wanted that fighting game money. And got Arxis to make this title, and Arxis was a good pick to make this game. This game is absolutely gorgeous, the colors just burst off the screen, every character looks like they came straight out of an anime, I've said this before, and well, it just looks really damn smooth. Remember kids, art over technical prowess any day of the week. This is the beta we're looking at here. I was one of the lucky few who got the RNG right. As a result, I got to enjoy Granblue Fantasy Versus for the weekend, and well, here are my thoughts and impressions. Excuse some of the poor gameplay, a lot of people, myself included, have no idea what they're doing, so we're just kind of going with the flow and hitting buttons right now. And even as someone who's terrible at fighting games, I found this title to be very enjoyable. If you're used to Arxis' previous fighting games like Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball FighterZ, you're used to really high damaging, big comboing, burst baiting, air dashing fighters. However, Granblue Fantasy Versus isn't like that. It's a very stripped down fighting game. In fact, it plays more like a Street Fighter title like Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 3 than it does a standard anime air dashing fighting game. I think that was deliberate on Arxis' and Cygames' part. I think they said in an interview that they wanted this game to be more accessible than your average fast fest of an Arxis fighting game. And I know a lot of people out there get triggered by the word accessibility, but here's the thing. Accessibility does not mean simple. All accessibility is doing is lowering the skill floor so people can get into this game easier. If you're one of those guys who gets off at knowing how to play really hard nerd wankfest such as Kerbal Space Program or Dwarf Fortress, you might not be happy with this title, but for me, I greatly enjoyed it. The complex inputs from previous Arxis games are gone for simple quarter circle forward and dragon punch motions. Hell, if you're playing on a pad, all you have to do is hit a trigger button or a direction at a button and you'll get your special move. Gone is air dashing and burst for a more straightforward ground game that, like I said, fans of Street Fighter 2 and 3 will greatly enjoy. I like this as it shifts the focus from doing complex combos or complex inputs in favor of a more straightforward game. I can now focus on my character in the moment instead of having to worry about doing a very complex input or a very complex combo chain. So now there's no excuse for me dropping combos, which I do very frequently. There are 5 characters in the beta. Gran is the hero of the story and a basic character. Unless her name is Kyo Kusanagi, I'm not really into playing the basic hero character. Having said that, he's a ton of fun to play as. Catalina is the other basic fighting game character. She has a counter that she can move in and out of. If Gran is Ryu, then Catalina would be a Ken or maybe a Sakura. Lancelot is a mix-up heavy character and a very rushdown character at that. He wasn't my kind of character. Same with Charlotte. I think I'm gonna go with Charlotte. I didn't like her. My favorite part of the beta was seeing a screenshot of a player going by Chris Hansen trying to body all the Charlotte players. All fun and good until you try to fight a Charlotte who knows what she's doing. Incidentally, when I was recording this video, I found out that the Charlotta Discord got banned for lolly porn. Oh man, Chris Hansen, he's gonna be busy this week, isn't he? My favorite character of the beta was easily Fairy, not because of all the back in the armpit shots or the knee stockings. No, she has blue hair, which is a plus, and she has a whip. That means she's a Belmont. Now personally, if I were her, I would trade in that dinky little leather whip in favor of the vampire killer. The leather whip is good and all for a fun night out in the town, but a metal ball on a chain, that will do some serious damage. Fairy has good buttons and zoning options, combined with some long hitting moves and an animal that acts as George III from BlazBlue, giving her many options in battle. See those bars underneath the life bar? Those are tied to your special moves. So you can't just spam specials all day. If Fairy was in a game like say BlazBlue or Guilty Gear, she would get a knockdown, then use the animal to go for a mix-up, creating set play. In Granblue, you can't do that. You have to use the animal wisely. Fairy and Catalina were easily my favorite characters from the beta. As mentioned, the combos in this game aren't as complex as they were in, say, Guilty Gear or BlazBlue. It's very easy to chain buttons into a special move for a knockdown. The flow of Granblue versus reminds me a lot of Third Strike, where you're constantly moving in and out going for hit confirms. There's even a universal overhead too, so hey, this game really is Third Strike. I used to main Fairy back at Third Strike. See my Fairy in Third Strike, that joke doesn't work, does it? As someone who plays most of their fighting games on an arcade stick, I did find playing Granblue on a standard PS4 pad very comfortable. The easy inputs for specials and the button bindings makes things much easier to get adjusted to than standard 2D fighters. As when I play a standard 2D fighting game on a pad, my hand gets very cramped. The lobbies look great. It's Arxis' patented virtual arcade lobbies. Walk up to a machine and put your quarter up. It's cute and adds more flavor than every other fighting game on the market. A lot of people who know nothing about Granblue are going to play this title, and hell, I would say that Granblue fans wouldn't know how their favorite characters transition into a fighting game. And one thing I have to give Arxis credit here for is the command list. Most command lists in other fighting games are just, well, a list, and they don't give you any context or any advice about how to use your special moves. Here in Granblue, they not only give you the name of the move, they give you a detailed description of the move and ideas of how to use the move, and a clip of what the move looks like in action. Thank you, Arxis, you know what it's like to be a newcomer to a fighting game. If I have any suggestions to improve on Granblue Fantasy Versus, I personally would make it so that everyone's walk speed was just a smidge faster. I would also tone down the damage across the board just a skosh too. And finally, I would have it possible to be able to block out of dashing. And for the lobbies, make it so that the default camera position is overhead. Some people are going to be playing on arcade stick or hitbox and they're not going to have access to the right analog stick on those control setups. And with that said, that's Granblue Fantasy Versus. It's looking like it will be a solid fighting game. As long as the cast of characters is diverse, the net play is solid, which it is so far, and there's some really good single player content, I think Granblue will be a fighting game to keep your eye out on. Especially if you're into armpits and backs.
Finish.
そんなごめん
ありがとうな。ごめんよ、少し大人げがなかった。だが私も負けられないんだ。
Based on my toys, I really do think I might have a thing for blue-haired girls, so if there's any blue-haired girls in the audience, call me. So yeah, Columbia impressed with Granblue Fantasy Versus. I had a lot of fun with the title, the net play was very solid, and I am looking forward to seeing how the game develops over time and the full product when it eventually drops, whenever it drops. I did do some research on Granblue Fantasy, as in looked up all the characters' designs, and I'm going to throw up some of the ones I thought looked really cool and the characters who I think would look really good in the fighting game. But there's one character I really want from Granblue in the fighting title. It would be this character who's like a middle-aged mom, she fights with her kid. That would be an insane concept for a fighting game. She'd be like, I don't know, Ice Climbers or something like a Carl Clover for Granblue Fantasy Versus. That would be dope. That's what fighting games need more of. They need middle-aged moms fighting alongside their kids. Come on, it's genius. Side games, give me a job, please. Anyway, I think I'll just leave the video at that. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm back, baby. My stress should hopefully be going down in the next few months. and we'll see what happens to me going forward. Hopefully only good things. So I'll see you on the next episode of The Z-Man Show. But before I go, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. Please support me on Patreon if you feel so kind. I promise you I'll be uploading more soon. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Z-Man Show. I just said that. It's been a long week, everybody. Anyway, later.